sponsored by Jai Shah Photography, UK's award-winning photographer, creating high-impact portraits designed to grab attention. That's Jai Shah Photography, who is sponsoring this episode. And this week's episode is all about dating.
Christ.
Oh, yeah!
I'll get a date with Heren.
At least there'll be food there.
That's actually very true. That is very true. Welcome to another episode of the Generational Vibes podcast with myself and my GV crew. So there is Jay, Heren, Aaron, Khilna and myself, and we're back. And this week's episode is all about dating.
Christ.
Oh, yeah.
Shit.
I think it's a really good topic to talk about when it comes to generations, because I know that I've lived through a couple of decades of different dating strategies. So yeah, I think it's a good one. Like, what's dating like today? What has dating been like previously? I'm still single, so for those men out there,
if there's any 50-year-old men,
Slide into a
slide
DM.
into these DMs.
slide into my DMs.
Obviously, if you slide into Generational Vibes DMs, we will then obviously,
Forward it on.
We will divert you.
but whoever is running it at the time will also be included. So beware.
So, it's
Yeah.
like a draw.
Yeah.
You might get a date with Heren.
At least there'll be food there.
That's actually very true. That is very true.
So what's dating like at wartime?
In the wartime.
Rations.
Well, I definitely have gone through like a bit of a journey when it comes to dating, right? So I've had dates where in the past, however many decades ago, like you were either set up with friends or you would meet people in a bar, or you know, you'd go to community events or your parents would tell you about somebody, etc. And then I obviously transitioned into the world of online dating. And that was before the kind of Tinder swipe right, swipe left. That was like Match.com, Shadi.com. That was a big one.
Oh, yeah, I was on there for a little while.
Yeah, I remember me and Mike.
I can't remember.
Account's still active.
That's probably what I was looking for, I'll tell you that.
And then
Sorry, Dee, go ahead.
I remember me and my cousin joined Shadi.com at the exact same time. And she met somebody, she's got married, she's got 3 kids. So it obviously works, yeah. I mean, I'm still searching. And then you had like Tinder and Bumble and all of those ones now, where you have to swipe right and swipe left. But I think
Can I just say it's really interesting that Bumble now, you can also have like business connections on
Yeah.
there. So it's not just about dating.
Yeah.
Is that what you're
Quite
calling
inter-
it? I call it cheating.
But
To be fair, I haven't really been on them for ages. But
I'm glad.
But I think the world of dating for women, I mean, I don't know what it's like for men, but for women, like for me personally, I miss the ability to meet people face to face. And for guys to come up to me. I'm a bit traditional like that. I want a guy to come up to me and ask me. I mean, I have asked blokes out in the past. Well, clearly it hasn't turned into anything, but I'm still like, I want to be the girl. I want a gentleman to come and ask me to make the first move.
It's difficult because I feel like a lot of men are scared about rejection. And I think it's harder now. Sorry. I think it's harder now because it's probably not every single person, but I feel like in society, it's very nitpick. So it's like, they do 95 or 98% of things, but that 2% really pisses me off. I'm like, 98% is very
good. Yeah.
And a lot of people struggle to even find 98% of what you're looking for. And
So people are looking for perfection, aren't they?
Perfection. I think as we've gone on, I mean, I'm talking like less years, but I feel like it's got to the point where it's like, right, perfect or nothing. And it gets difficult from both points as well. Cause
Yeah, it's hard to live up to,
I
right?
think women are sitting there going, I want the perfect man. And then most men are sitting there going, I want the perfect woman. And it's like, yeah, they don't exist. But
Have you looked at yourself in the mirror? That's the kind of question you almost want to ask. And to be fair, like, I'm happy to kind of say this as a woman. I don't think women have made it easier either for guys to kind of come and approach, because I think I remember this story once where me and a couple of friends, every Friday we used to go in. Do you remember the old cafe in Heren the Hill?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So me and my two friends, every Friday we used to go there, have a few drinks. The two of them were either, I think they were in relationships already. And I remember a guy coming up to us, because it used to be full. It was just a really nice crowd in there. So a guy came up to us, started chatting to us, and so I was like chatting back, etc. I didn't find him attractive or anything like that. There was no kind of chemistry or anything like that. And then then he went away. But I looked at my friend, and she must have given him the dirtiest look, like, and I was like, what's the matter? And she was like, oh my God, could he not see that we were having a private conversation? Like, why did he come and disturb us? And I was like, do you know how much courage it might have taken him? His friends are over there. He's decided that he's going to approach 3 women who are sitting on their own. How much courage it might have taken him to come up and even say hello? We don't know, right? So if I had just completely blanked him and been rude to him, he would have felt so awful. So even though I didn't like him in that way, it's just human nature to be nice.
And then that just like goes back to he would never do that again.
He would never do that again.
But to be honest, that's a real fear. Because as a man going up to women, it's scary, right? It takes a lot of courage to do that.
It takes balls.
It takes balls, serious. Like, and then when you get that kind of reaction, you kind of think twice about it afterwards. It's like, last time it didn't go well. Like, it's that experience, right?
Yeah, but for those kind of people, dating apps are obviously a lot more easier then, because it is literally just swipe left or right. So if you get rejected, you get rejected. You just keep swiping.
You're right, but I feel like with dating apps, it's
A numbers game.
not even numbers game. For me, I find that I make a better impression in person than I do on.
Yeah, me too.
But also with dating apps, because it's just swipe. The mentality, the thought of it is, I'll find someone better. I'll find someone better. So that way,
there's an unconscious.
yes, there's more like, he was good, but maybe someone will be better, kind of thing. It's that kind of thought.
Like, do people read profiles? Like, I actually read profiles. I remember when I first started on a dating app, like, I had my picture on there, but I would also meet people who hadn't put a picture on, because I'd read what they'd written. And I think, like you said, it's just so superficial, isn't it?
That's quite brave. I would have never
You don't know
done
what
that.
they look like.
So I never used to know what they looked like, but I'd read their profile and then I'd,
Here's the thing. People, the actual legit people who fill out the whole profile, it goes back to the nitpicking thing. Oh my God, he's great. She's great. Blah, blah, blah. She likes hiking. I don't fucking like hiking. Next. And then all of a sudden, that could have been your perfect person. And obviously, when they mean hiking, they might have been, there's not a section for, I like walks, but I don't like marathons. Like, that's the middle bit. So you could have taken that into all different contexts. And all of a sudden, you've just got rid of that someone. You'll never see that person again, because the apps, that's how they work. And all of a sudden, you're like, yeah, but that was the one for you. And it's only because that one little thing, you've now nitpicked it and you've gone, right. And it's a search for perfection, I believe.
Yeah. So
Also, another thing to add, right? I find that when you meet someone in person compared to when you meet someone on an app, I don't know how to exactly say, but the quality is more, or the bond is a bit stronger.
I think the energy, isn't it? It's an exchange of, you would know about this, Khilna, in terms of like the woo-woo stuff. It's an energetical exchange, isn't it?
Absolutely. And I've been introduced to guys like way before Heren.
Still trying to figure it out today.
But like, for example, I would have got introduced to someone by like my family, and it was really short. Even on WhatsApp, I'm just like, I don't want to date this guy. And it was just that initial exchange. I'm like, nah, so, using your gut, your intuition, it's like, this guy's not for me. Then I've met people when you're out and about. So I was invited to my cousin's Christmas party, and then literally I got sat next to someone, and then like we hit it off straight away, and then we were kind of together for a little while. So, but that was a genuine like bond, a genuine, when you're in person, someone makes you laugh and all of that kind of stuff. And then also I've been on the apps and, swipe. To be fair, I feel like I've never had a horrific date.
I've had a few.
But yeah,
she's sitting next to me.
It may not have been up until now, but tonight it will be. Horrific.
We've got some talking to do.
You know all of this about me.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is different meeting someone literally when you're out on a night out. I've also had, way back in the day, when we used to go to bars and stuff, clubbing, and like you would have got someone's number, and by the next morning they would have forgotten who the hell you are.
But I do want to pick up on something you said. You were like, on WhatsApp, you kind of energetically knew that somebody wasn't.
Like a match.
Just to be a kind of devil's advocate on that, is that the same sort of thing that you just said, Jay, about are we making a judgment based on, because they might not be good at WhatsApp, they might just not come across well in a text conversation, and have we discarded them because actually in person they may be much better?
So this is the thing, right? For me, like, I'm very introverted. Okay, I wouldn't say very, well, somewhere on that spectrum. Anyway, so for me saying that it's better to do it in person than online, that's a big thing, right? I do feel like when you're messaging on WhatsApp, things can be taken, because you can't really convey tone on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
So you may say something and mean it, have a different intention behind what you've written as to what they receive it as.
It's because there's no tone in text.
Exactly,
You
yeah,
don't know
yeah.
how you say it. Sometimes
Exactly.
it sounds quite abrupt, what the hell? But it actually...
Exactly, yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's right. So I feel like, I mean, I do a lot of, I used to do a lot of video, well, I still do. I do a lot of video calling, because it's even through WhatsApp, like video calling is a lot, I feel like it's better than just texting. Yeah.
Because you can see
them, expressions,
yeah, exactly,
the emotion, the expression.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
and
right.
there is that exchange again,
Yeah.
isn't there?
Have you ever sent a message and then not received a reply for like ages, and you're like,
Wonder.
yeah.
You've been ghosted.
Yeah.
And she's not.
Heren, how did you and your missus meet?
Oh, this is a great story.
Go on.
It's got all shy.
So shall we talk about something else?
But did you meet at like uni? Did you meet?
So we actually met on a night out.
Okay, yeah.
So
So
it was-
slid into whose DMs?
There was no sliding
didn't have
into DMs.
That means sliding into DMs. Who handed the handkerchief?
we had a BB pin. But yeah, no, we literally just met. I think it was on her sister's. Yeah, it was her elder sister's birthday up in central London. So I was with a group of friends. She was with a different group of friends, obviously. Somebody had a bit too much drink, threw up in front of someone, and that was pretty much it, really. After that, yeah.
You've seen them.
beautiful story.
It is, especially because you've seen them in their worst state, haven't you?
Yeah, exactly. It couldn't get any worse than
Yeah,
that, really.
but I think there's magic in that, because in my head I go, that just like you said, like that whole, like I know so many people who have met their partners, like Heren just mentioned, who would say that if they were single today, they would hate it, because they don't think that, like, it's so hard now for people who are single that they would just hate that whole process of having to, potentially find somebody on an online dating app, or having to go to dating events rather than the natural course of meeting people.
Is that from a married woman's point of view or a married guy's point of view?
Well, to be fair, like, actually it's mainly women, I think.
Also,
So yeah, maybe slightly different for men.
Maybe that's a question that we should put out there on Instagram.
It's funny how you asked that, and then both looked at me. I went, okay. Nowadays, it's the hardest. Chat-up lines, that's just a joke anymore. People asking for numbers or even just talking. You can't go up to someone. It just doesn't work. It's just so difficult. You have to like build a bond from a friendship style. And it's like, oh yeah, I think I see the same feeling. It's like, how do you think?
So do you think like romance is dead then, in terms of the
No.
courtship? Sorry, courtship. Do you think courtship is dead?
You're gonna have to explain what the fuck that is.
So courting is where like, you go dating, you go on dates, and
I think-
there's like that whole. There's no like, there's not like, right, let's go on one date and then I want to see if you're going to sleep with me.
It's the expectation.
Expecting.
When you go, there are so many young people that go to clubs and go, yeah, I'm going to go find a woman. I said, good luck. Because you're not going to find someone. The whole point is you're going out with your mates, you're having a bit of fun, a bit of boogie, bit of drink, then you leave. It's not Match.com. So when you go on a date, yeah, you're going on a date, but what's your intentions? The woman's side might be, yeah, but I want to see if he's the right one. Go on second date. He's probably sitting there going, so how quickly can I get into a band? Or something like that. I'm not saying all men, all women, but it's the expectation. It's what you're expecting from a date. Some people are really cool, collective, but then the woman might say, well, you're a bit slow. So like,
But that's why
dates you want.
Isn't that why they brought out Tinder? Like Tinder was originally, I believe the whole purpose of Tinder was it was for hookups rather than long term.
It's funny because my best mate, he's gonna kill me but anyway, he actually met his girlfriend on Tinder.
Yeah.
And he was pissed out of his head. I don't know what he said. But she must have also been pissed. They both were. It probably like yours, but online.
That's it. Yeah.
Right?
I was going to say, it sounds familiar.
Honest to God, I think they've only been going out for 18 months.
Yeah.
They've moved out together.
They live together now.
They live together. They are husband and wife material, both of them.
Yeah.
He's a goddamn pussy when it comes to both of them. I don't care. I've said it to his face. I sat there every time in his house here. She's like, do something. He goes, okay. And I'm like, you changed, man. Changed. You used to be all this big, massive guy. Now you're just a fluffy teddy bear.
Yeah.
But they've all done that in 18 months. And don't get me wrong, when you say it out loud, most people listening probably thinking, man, 18 months, that's quick. But when you know, you just got to go with it. And he was like, listen, I do like I've got these feelings for her, whatever, and they get on with each other very well. They're like best mates. So I sit there and go, don't worry about what everyone thinks. There's not a timeline or whatever it is. If you feel like it's right, go for it. If it doesn't work out, what are you gonna do? Separate and go back to your mum's house. That's it. That's it. Simple.
But I
as
also
To be
think
fair, we only dated for about 8 months, 8 to 9 months, I think it was.
that. Was it harder then to date? Because dating, I know some people who've been dating for like 3-4 years.
But do you know, we had no other options back then. So
Yeah.
Other options.
as in like, there was no, there's no social media. There was like,
yeah,
No,
yeah,
that's
so-
what I'm
dating
saying.
apps or anything. So
was there like so some people, the Indian mentality of you've got to go out for this much but then get married by this and then have some.
oh no, it wasn't like that.
Was there a sense of, oh, you're dating for 3 months? Well, come on, time's ticking. Was there what did you feel like there was
Not really, no,
Okay.
not really. I think you get a lot more of that I think there's an element of that if you're being set up through your parents.
Yeah, I think so.
I think that's more because there's been times where actually I've been set up, through parents, and like, okay, we've been out a couple of times, maybe across like a month or two or whatever, and then it's always
wanna
the whole
know
clock
some
watching
kind
thing.
of
They want to know
answer.
something,
Yeah.
but there's been some horrific ones as well, like literally, like and you wouldn't expect it, like being set up like from like your parents,
This is a thing.
You would
This
think
is-
that they would know the kind of person
No, but they don't.
or their son or their daughter
They
is looking
don't.
for.
That's because they look at other aspects, don't they? They look at the family, they look at the
Yeah.
person's
Yeah.
They
occupation.
don't actually know that
And they don't know that
person.
person. Yeah. They look at the reputation of the unit as opposed to the individual.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's been one date that I'll probably say there's 2 worst ones that I've been for.
Love it.
One was, do you know what? On paper, sounded excellent. Yeah. I kid you not. Yeah,
sound like
she
80%
sounded,
men.
and I was actually hopeful. I was like, okay, cool. Do you know what? This one could actually be the one. Yeah.
How old were you?
Got to the house, 25.
Okay, all right.
Got to the house,
Yeah.
all good. Met the parents and that. She was upstairs. She comes downstairs. I kid you not. She had like bright purple hair. like bright purple, not even like
Jay's
proper
impressed.
bright purple hair. Yeah.
I think Jay's impressed.
If you switch the lights off, it would have glowed in the dark. Yeah, and literally.
I mean, that's
I was
my
like,
kind of
okay.
vibe.
That's
Does that make
interesting because I was going to say that sounds like an ick of yours, but I would love that.
I would love that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's just personal
I'm
preference.
just saying. I'm just saying, like purple hair would not make me switch off.
Yeah.
No, it would
don't know.
switch me on.
Okay, any purple hair ladies slide into Jay's DMs.
I think the only other one was where obviously the parents obviously got it completely wrong was another girl that I went on a date with, and again she was actually all right. She was stunning, actually, to be fair. Right? Yeah, I looked at her and I was like, do you know what? I think I've been jackpot here. Yeah. I was like, this is definitely the one.
Actually, she's stunning.
No, she was right, and like, I was like, do you know what? This is definitely the one, man. She's like hot, yeah. Anyway.
Okay.
Went out, took her to a nice little pub. Obviously, back then there was no like you could smoke inside the pub and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that. So went into this pub and it was full of smoke. Yeah. She is like, oh, did you always go to these kind of places? I was like, yeah. She's like, oh, and then she started coughing, and I was like, oh, you don't like the smoking? That she's like, no. I was like, all right. So then it just went quiet after that. And I was like, oh shit.
Did you not leave?
No. And then me, obviously, I was hungry, innit?
It was like, stop the day. I need
Hungry?
to feed my
Way to a
belly.
man's heart,
This was
remember,
probably
is
around about like
food.
25, 26, so around about the same sort of time, yeah. And so I obviously just ordered food and asked her what she wanted. She said that she's not hungry and that. We're in a pub and she ordered a glass of water or whatever.
Rain.
There's
She
me.
ordered rain.
There's me. I sit there. I ordered my steak, my chips, Diet Coke,
She's like, this
the
guy.
whole shebang, yeah. And then she's like, oh, you eat meat?
Yeah, she's like,
like,
this guy's not for me.
And then she's like, what's that? And I was like, oh, it's a steak. Obviously, she was from India, so she doesn't know what steak is, right? Yeah, as such, right? Yeah. And she was like, oh, is that like lamb?
Ah.
I was like, no,
It's
cow. And the look of disgust on her face,
Secret animal.
Exactly.
the look of disgust on her
Sacred
face, it was just
animal.
real, yeah. And I was just like, right, I could either leave this nice bit of steak on the table and drop her
I know
back,
Heren.
or I could eat the steak and then drop her back.
So he took the third option, put the steak in the pocket, and he dropped it off.
That's the one.
His right leg is just dripping with blood. Don't worry,
Demand
put the chips in
period.
the other
That's
pocket.
what I mean. It's like sometimes parents get so caught up in the fact that, oh, they've been recommended this girl from like wherever, somewhere down the family line or wherever, or friends and that, but they don't actually look at compatibility. Which is a pain.
Oh my God. So I'm just going to say, I went on a date with this guy and he was very like in the financial sector, obviously made a lot of money, this and that. And I went on a date with him and I was like, oh my God, I just really don't vibe with him. And then I think a year down the line, someone sent me the same guy's details. I'm like, no, thank you very much.
It is interesting, isn't it? I mean, I have had a number of dating disasters. So, I mean, I could write a book. Like
This is why
that.
we walked for 3 weeks straight.
I told him about each and every
The
single one.
idea. This is the
On a
idea
date.
how this was born.
The whole day, I wasn't thinking about work. I was thinking about processing. How on earth did the day end up like that? I don't understand.
Well, I think my most recent disaster was being catfished. So literally, like, and luckily, no money. I mean, money was asked for,
Exchanged
but I
hands.
definitely had my brain cells switched on because I would never ever.
You're actually very lucky, dear.
Yeah, because I would never. And the funny thing was, right from the beginning, and because he was in the States, and so we'd always talk on the phone. And right from the beginning, I had mentioned about the fact that I would never, if somebody ever asked me for money, I would never give it to them. But yet he's like, over a number of months, etc. And it was really,
months,
yeah,
wasn't it?
and it was really odd because it was like every time I tried to get him on a video call, he was busy, but then he would send me videos of him. So I was like, okay, at least he's sending me stuff. But yeah, it was just really odd. And then I just go into Miss Marple stage. So when he asked me for money and I said no, then suddenly he was disconnected from all.
He blocked
What the hell
you
does he want
and-
money
And he
for?
blocked.
He's a scammer.
No, I think what was his reason?
Oh.
His reason was like he apparently had this business and he was short. Yeah, he wanted me to invest because he was short by X amount, and it was really weird.
It's the same old chestnut every time.
And then interesting enough, literally a few months later, I'd connected with another guy, and there was just something about his, like, the way that he'd written his profile and these people who scam, they are so eager. They're like, they suddenly, like, you know, they confess their dying love for you, like, within the first week. And this guy was getting all light, and I was like, oh my God. I did a Google search on his image, and the photo he graphic used was of some, like, Indian actor from the serial. So he was another.
Wow.
Yeah, so really weird. So yeah, things like that. I've then had. So I was set up on a date once where I went along, and no offense, Heren, but he was even more of a coconut than you, right? But to the point that he was disgusted with the fact that I lived a life in the UK where I embraced both my Western side and my Eastern side. He couldn't understand how I could love my Eastern side.
Was he from India?
No, he was from here. He spoke very posh.
Oh, sorry, he's a coconut.
He's a
Yeah,
proper
very posh. So I've had that, and then, like, oh my gosh, yeah, I've had, and then I've had some, and this is what I mean about just needing somebody. And I think one of the reasons why I'm still single is I think men find me not scary, Heren.
Loud. Let's go with
But I
loud.
think intimidated.
But
What they don't know about me is actually I'm very feminine in the sense that I want a man who, you know, I want to be looked after and cared for and things like that. But I remember one guy I'd met on a date on one of the dating sites, and then we'd already agreed to meet, and then he then started to talk about how, you know, when he found out I was a coach and trainer, he then started talking about how he would need some coaching. It'd be really exciting if we got together, because then, like, any problems he'd be able to talk to me about it and things like that. It was like he wanted me to be his coach,
basically.
And then by the time I met him, I'd found out that he wasn't very social. He only went from work to the gym, didn't like socializing. And
that wouldn't have worked for you, Dee.
Definitely not. So I remember we went out on this day, and also he'd been an alcoholic. So again, nothing against alcoholics. So like when I got there, I was like, right, I'll order coffee for both of us, etc. And then we'd had a coffee, and then he was like, oh, next time we'll do dinner. And I just went, next time we won't. But I'm very good. I was really good when I went on a date. If there was no chemistry, I didn't do the whole, oh yeah, we'll speak soon, or I'll call you. I didn't do that. I just kind of went.
You just bin them straight away.
Yeah, or I just want to know. Like if I like somebody and they didn't like me, I'd rather them just told me, because I've been on a few dates where they've gone, oh yeah, we'll definitely get together soon. And then, like, you don't hear from them, they don't call you, they ignore your messages, and you're just like, why didn't you just say if you weren't interested in me? Like, do you think I'm going to, you know, break down and cry and go into a little corner and not come out of my room for the rest of the world?
Too many Indian films.
They've
That's
been,
what they do, yeah.
yeah. And I said, just say no. I've got big girl pants on. Just say no. I don't like you.
I think sometimes it's just that confrontation, isn't it? You don't want to let someone down, but then that results in you, like, ghosting them.
Yeah.
It's also the reaction as well. You don't exactly like. You might be, oh, quite nice, and then go, listen, this might not work. All of a sudden, he or she just flips. What the hell are you talking about? I'm like,
Yeah,
no, I really don't like you.
You never know what you're going to get on the other
Yeah.
side.
Still a
of it,
stranger.
but- Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Just-
Well, then don't ghost. At least text them then.
Just say I'm not interested.
In today's world of
that
communication.
The guy, is that coming from the guy responding back to you, or are you talking about just generally?
Just both.
Yeah,
both
generally
ways.
both, but I can only give the experience from
Yeah.
being a woman with a guy.
Just on the whole the date scamming thing. Have you guys seen that film on Netflix? Not film, sorry, a documentary on Netflix.
Yes.
The one.
The Tinder Swindler.
The Tinder Swindler. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, gee, you got to watch
I
it.
gotta watch it.
But
Okay,
this
so
is
you
where
need to
they
watch
play
it first.
mind games. They
Watch
play
it
mind
first.
games.
Watch it first, and then we'll do.
But is that more, from the ones that watched it?
haven't seen it.
Do you think that's more of a generational thing, where obviously they fell into that trap?
No, the scams have been.
Because I was sitting there watching it, and I was thinking, in my mind, I was thinking to myself, like, these women, obviously that got sucked into it. I'm thinking to myself, do you know what? it's such an obvious scam.
Yeah, but you don't
know
it
because they found the emotion, don't they?
Because that initial date, you get wined and dined, so you think, okay, he's got money, right? And you feel like he's going to do this every time you go on a date or whatever. You feel like he's got that money to sustain you. For
a woman,
kind of lifestyle,
and for a woman,
forever.
And for a woman, the number one need generally, because we're talking about human needs. And this is just a generalization, but the number one need for women is security, to feel safe, secure, etc.
Why the hell are you with me? What the hell?
I asked her the same question, Aaron.
They're not the only one.
I think we should revisit, definitely, like Aaron said, about the whole Tinder swindler once everyone's watched it.
But it is all on emotions, right? Like you were saying, right?
Yeah, then it's that emotional, manipulative nature of that guy. And then he's playing on your heartstrings.
Yeah, because the catfish guy that I had, I was emotionally attached to that relationship, even though I'd never met him. We'd spoke every single night, sometimes more than twice a day. He would send messages, etc. And there was things like there were conversations that aren't even on my profile, but it was just like I was just like, this is my ideal person. And so the more I got into it, the more, because then sometimes I'd say to myself, oh my gosh, because this guy, the pictures he sent me, oh my God, he was like stunning, like really good looking. So then, myself, I was going, oh my God, somebody. So I was like, somebody this good looking can't be interested in me. You start going down that rabbit hole, going, oh my gosh, like he's so good looking, like I'm definitely punching. He can't be interested. And then I'd give a talking to myself and go, no, Dee, just enjoy the process because, why wouldn't he like you and all this kind of stuff. So at the end of when this all happened, I remember a friend of mine said to me, there was one thing good that came out of that whole experience. And that was that I know exactly the kind of guy I want. So I want the guy that he was pretending to be because, he was sensitive. There was conversations that we had about children and all sorts of things. So I there were loads of really good, deep conversations we had. So now I know that I want that, but I just need to know that I've got it with somebody who's genuine rather than a scam artist. But it's amazing how they're masters at it.
They're master
we
manipulators.
don't see it the other way around, though, do we, Aaron, Jay? I don't know if you guys have come across.
No, because if a woman came up to me and said, let's have sex, I'd be like, what's the catch?
Yeah.
That's the first thing I'd say.
Well, most people actually would say,
what's the catch?
Yes.
No, what's the catch? Because you think...
I'm sure it does happen.
But there will definitely be women scammers.
I mean, I remember this woman who's like a millionaire, but she's like the stingiest millionaire ever. And she was married to this guy. They're now divorced, but he still comes around and cleans her house top to bottom for free.
That's just a symbol.
But I think, no, but you're right. But
Do you think it's just that men just don't talk about it?
men just,
Maybe,
it's just not as common or not as talked about.
It's quite difficult because you think to yourself, okay, well, when you see a man scamming a woman, the first thing you think of is emotion. My question would be is, if a woman was trying to scam a guy, what would be the one thing that you sit there and go, right, that's the fragile section of
Love and connection still. Love and connection is still a human need.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying.
I don't know about you and Heren and Aaron, but do you guys get random women just trying to add you on Facebook?
Oh, yeah.
Add?
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
You see
No, but they're usually scams, right? They're usually scams. So
it's weird. Ever since I was public with me and Khilna, they just kept on coming. I thought it was a sign, and then I went, no, it's not actually.
but I think that's where like some people might get caught out, get added, and then that's where the conversation starts, right?
That's true.
I would love to know, listeners out there, if you are a man who has been catfished by a woman, we'd love to know what your experience has been. So give us a visit on our socials. It's generational.vibes. We're on Instagram, TikTok and Facebook. So definitely give us a follow. And let us know your comments. Send us a message, slide into our DMs at generational.vibes. And tell us your story, because we would love to know, and we'll read some of these out the next time we're on. So
Obviously, we won't mention any names if it's in DMs.
Of course, yeah. If you want it to be if you want it to be anonymous, just put that down there. But if you don't mind us mentioning your name, we'll give you a shout out on the podcast. So yeah, give us a follow, and also remember to download this podcast, Generational Vibes. We're on Spotify, on Apple, on all the major podcast platforms. Give us a follow. But we'd love to hear your dating disasters or dating great success stories as well.
Yeah, just hit us up, man.
I've got a question. So, chat up lines. Okay? Some are really corny, some are really good. But to the boys, have you ever used a chat up line and it's worked or has not worked? And the ladies, have you heard any chat up lines from men or whoever and been like, Jesus Christ, what the hell was that? So what was your best chat up line? Let's go with best chat up lines. Boys, have you guys used any chat up lines?
I have, but they're from back in the day. So
go on, what were the back in the day ones?
They can't be accepted nowadays.
I'll be honest, none of them can be accepted now. Not even on air. But none of them actually have worked. So, but then back then we didn't have ChatGPT.
I'm just too awkward with it, man. I can't even deliver it.
So I've used it once.
Which was the one you used?
So I think I was, I don't know when this was, I think 22 or something, 21. So I was at a restaurant with my cousin. We were just chatting some of that. And this waitress comes up and she somehow has our table in our area. And I'm like, shit, man, she looks so good. Anyway, so I sat there, I was like, right, I'm just going to try. Fuck it. She comes around, gets the food, and I said, can I get some napkins? She fucks off, comes back with napkins, and I went, oh, sorry, this one hasn't got your number on it.
That's a good one.
I kid you not.
That is a good
She went
one.
back, she wrote a number on the napkin, and she took it, and I gave it to my cousin. That's
Oh my
the
god!
only time it ever worked.
Damn.
Is that
All my
because
chat lines.
is that because that's the only time you've tried that one,
Yeah.
or have you tried it other
I've
times
never
and it's not
tried the
worked?
chat up line.
No, but that
Like a
particular
cheesy-
that particular chat
That was my
line.
first time, one-on-one.
You tried a chat line, but then you gave the number to your cousin.
Yeah.
It was proof that you
Very
could do
thoughtful
it.
of you.
However,
Proof that-
I think what's even more shocking is generally in life, if you have a strategy for something that works, you do it again. Like, how have you not used that strat? I mean, obviously now you've got Khilna, it doesn't matter, but
It's weird. I did all my chat up lines after. So I've got these chat up lines, right?
Yeah.
between the ages of 21 and whatever old age you are now.
It's not been that long. To be honest,
Because you never use that chat up line on me, I'm telling you that.
She would have been
that night.
would have just melt
day.
over you.
Well, there would have been someone else sitting next to me and not you, innit? But I think that one day, I don't know why it was. I think I had a great day, and I think I just had a lot of confidence. And I think if I ever just went out and someone said, right, go chat with that person, I'd be like, the first thing I say is fuck off. I'm not doing it, because I think you have to be in a zone. You have to kind of be free and just go, you know what? If it doesn't happen, what's the worst that's going to happen? And yes, rejection is the hardest thing.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, are you going to see this person again? Right? And it's not a disgusting chat up line. It's a cheeky. She literally, it wasn't like, oh my God, I'm in love with you. It was like, she was like, you know what? Fair play. That was very cheeky. I like that one. And that was it. It wasn't like, oh my God, I'm falling on my knees and like shaking.
Yeah.
Calm down. Yeah, it's just give me a napkin. I need to wipe my face. I look like shit, right? But that was the only time, and also is the confidence. And I think a lot of guys, especially, will have things and be like, you know, I really know exactly what to say to that person. It's the perfect time for it. And then the internal is like, you ain't going out there because you don't have the confidence to do that. But when you do have the confidence, I feel like, I mean, chat up lines, I think they're considered quite corny, right?
I think chat up lines are like, when I associate chat up lines, I think to myself of a club environment where guys have had a few to drink or whatever, or you're at the bar and they use
Have you ever had a chat up
them.
line in the club?
Yeah, in most clubs, that's how a lot of.
That was back in the day.
Remember back in the day?
Always used to use
But
chat
that's
lines.
how, yeah, exactly. Chat up lines were for that.
So what's the worst one? What's the ones you've heard?
The thing is, though, I don't remember the chat up line. However, I tell you, I have a request actually. So for those of you who are listening, I do remember the one time, I think I was 21 or maybe even 20, the one time that I had a rose for Valentine left for me outside my door. So this was when I was living with my parents. Left outside my door in a milk bottle, by the way.
Oh, a proper old.
Proper old school, right? So a single rose with a little cut-out heart, pink heart, and a poem on there, and it said, "Dear Danita, for you I leave a rose today to convey how I feel until I have the courage to approach you for real." No name, nothing like that. I still to this day do not know who left that rose. The man maybe still has no courage. I don't know. So if you are listening,
yeah, definitely slide into these DMs.
Even if your name's Shaba.
if you remember writing that poem and leaving it outside my parents' door in a milk bowl, I want to know.
Come forward. It's time.
There's probably some guy going, I did leave a rose, but I left it in a Tropicana cup. Oh, milk bowl. God damn it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and that's the thing. That could have been my
That's proper high school shiz, this is.
isn't it?
Yeah.
So that's why chat lines have just never registered, because I've always just had
Still
that.
waiting for that one. She's still waiting for that one. Oh my God.
You know, when she goes on dates, she's like, what do you expect from a man? I just want a milk bowl.
But that's a bit annoying, isn't it? Like, until I have the courage to approach you for real. Like, it's been 40 years. Like,
Show yourself, God damn it.
I'll ask a simple question, and I'm sure
you won't get a simple answer.
I'm sure our listeners are definitely asking the same question. Was this a dream?
I don't know, but I mean, it could.
That face was like, are you dumb? I still got the fucking milk bowl.
Immortalized in resin.
I mean,
That's mental.
It might have been my aunt that left it just to make me feel good. I don't know.
Could have been one of your family. You never know.
It could have been, yeah.
That's disgusting.
But would your family go through the whole thing around? Because that would be horrible, wouldn't it?
That's giving you some trauma.
That's cruel.
40 years of trauma.
You know what? You know what you should do? You know, the next time you have Diwali or something like that, and you got all your family around, and like, oh, D, how's things? You know, with the whole thing, it's like, yeah, you know what? There was this person who left a milk bowl. Just look at the faces, and one person go. 100%. They're like, you left the milk bowl.
And also, by the way, if you're listening, it's been 30 years. I got the date wrong. I don't want you to guys think I'm 60.
It's all right. It's all right. The fact that you said milk bowl suggests it's very hot.
Yeah.
So yeah. Oh, the world of dating. I just wish it was easier now. I wish there was still
easier when we were younger, because we just had but we had more confidence then.
Yeah, that's true.
I think as you get older,
I think with the start of
you probably
Facebook
lose that confidence.
and all of that stuff, people used to poke
I don't know. I go in reverse. I got more confidence now than I did when I was a kid. So
I think I can't be asked.
I agree. I feel like I have more confidence now than I had back then.
Yeah. Aaron's wondering what she's talking about.
Hey, listen, you're the one who said Bumble was a business venture thing.
But I do
thinking to myself, huh?
It is.
But I do think that I think the older you get, and I will admit, the older you get, is afterwards you just can't be asked. You're just like, oh my God, this is too much hard work.
Yeah, I mean, before you guys, I was single for a long, long time.
Before you guys.
I was going to say.
About why I'm reacting like this. You're like, oh my God, Aaron's this, blah, 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 blah. Are you dumb? Who's the guy?
This could be the last podcast with all five.
Well, whoever's in the next one has officially won the actual argument. The other one's downstairs in the car waiting.
So look, we would love to hear your dating stories. Go on, Aaron's about to.
I was going to say, you know, when you said that as you get older, you said I can't be asked, right? Or you feel like, you know what?
Yeah, it's just like hard work.
I feel like the timeline that you've had of when you were younger, where no social media, no internet, and it was just face-to-face contact. You as you've gone progressively through the years, you sit there going, hang on a minute, this is now diluting to the point where I actually can't get to grips on what I want and what I want to have, or can I find the right person? And I feel like the time has found it difficult for you. But just in general, I don't think it's more of a, I think
I still want to find somebody, and I still want to,
know who you are, but I think it's like the times have not been helpful where Tinder comes into play and you're like, oh, Tinder's great. And then you're like,
let me try that. And
then Bumble, so Bumble, there's, I don't know if you guys know this, but Bumble for, I believe, the
woman
has control of messaging first.
Has to message first. So,
and she has 24 hours.
Yeah, so Tinder, women used to always say, oh, these guys always say hi, hey. And it's like, oh my God, that's so boring. It's funny because Bumble is now, right, you lot start the conversation. Guess what we get?
Hi.
Hey.
So true, man.
Yeah?
So true.
And I waited 24 hours for this bullshit. I was like, what the hell is this? I said, you know what? Hi, bye.
Yeah.
See you later.
The other thing about that actually as well is a bit like what Jay was saying right at the start of this podcast, this episode was, I would much rather get on a phone call immediately. So I'm happy to exchange a few text messages, but then I'm like, here's my number, give me a call.
Yeah.
Now, some people might think in today's world that's a bit dangerous, but you can get my number anywhere.
Phone call.
Yeah,
Phone call.
Well, phone call's not really.
I wouldn't say phone. If you video called first, I'd be like, what?
Yeah, that's
I ain't got my face on. I've dropped my face. I mean, that's a bit, but a phone call, no, I think that's all.
Yeah, and it's much nicer because you could, like you said, you can hear the voice, the tonality. You can kind of go, oh, this person. There's a kind of fluidity to conversation,
And it makes it real.
and it makes
It's
it
the
real.
energy. It's the energy. That's all it is. And like you said, it's behind the screen. WhatsApp. I mean, I could ask you what you're doing.
Yeah.
You might read it. What are you doing? And I'm like, that's not how I read it, or that's not how I messaged it.
Yeah.
And there's different tones, and some might not get that sort of tonality.
Do you have chat history on these apps?
Yeah, I think so.
It stays there forever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not always forever, but it does stay there.
I think there's a few friends that I know that have obviously used Bumble and Tinder and a few other apps and that, and they're like, and this has happened obviously to a few of them now, where they'll start a conversation. They'll be like, oh yeah, we've matched, I'd like to get to know you a bit more about you, blah, blah, blah. They'll have a couple of messages in that, and then that'll be it, It won't go any further. And then literally a month or two later, the same person will message again saying, oh, we've matched, let's find out a little bit more about each other,
sounds like a blanket message to everybody.
Sometimes people are on there just to pass time.
Yeah,
And
that's the other thing about dating apps, isn't it? It's just like.
And remember, Tinder's it's like shopping. Think about it.
Window shopping.
That's it. That's all you're doing. If you walk down a high street and you're like, okay, I'll go in. If I don't like it, I'm walking past it. That's it. End of story. That's exactly what you're doing. And it's a shame because you are treating human beings like they're just mannequins. Oh, I like this person. Scroll down.
Yeah.
Dogs. Next. It's like, what? What do you mean? And there's little things, like we say, we'll go back to it, nitpicking on certain aspects. And I'm like, listen, you're not going to find this 100% perfect person, but at least get as close as possible to feel like, you know what, this is it. Yeah, got slight little faults, but this is the person I want to be with for the rest of my life. I don't think they see that until a very late age nowadays in our generation.
I think there's a difference between deciding what you want and knowing what you need.
Yes.
And I think that's the difference because we all want everything. We have a whole list. That's our want list. But actually, what is it that we need? What is the thing that's going to make us happy?
And where are you willing to compromise?
And where,
And the use of social media is a problem. And I think for our generation, when I mean our generation, it's younger, because you might notice, you see the rich kids of Instagram.
Yeah.
So you've seen these kids who are 19, 20 years old, driving Bugattis and got massive houses, got a yacht. Oh, I'm just chilling in my yacht this afternoon.
If you've got a yacht, get in touch.
If you've got a rubber dinghy,
stay away.
Let's Khilna know. Because we'd all love to see her paddle. But that can create a picture of, I'm on a yacht. And I'm like, you're 19 years old. Some of the 50-year-olds, 60-year-olds don't even see yachts in their lifetime. So it's managing the expectation where you go on a date and go, so how much are you making? I went, wow, that's a bit forward. And there's they've got a number in their head, and I'm like, I'm only 22.
Yeah.
we've all on minimum wage. No, it's not good enough. So what the hell is not good enough? But it's the managing expectation. I think the social media has ruined that to an extent. Not all.
Just a human connection, isn't it? Look,
here's a flip side to it. So obviously, like we know people that obviously on dating sites and that, as friends or whatever. But the flip side, or a small flip side to it, is dating services. So like speed dating, for example.
I was going to say.
But then the same people that are basically cussing the apps are also cussing speed dating because it's face to face. So where do you go then after that?
With all due respect, what do they want?
Yeah, they don't know.
Yeah,
They're not the people you're supposed to be
there's going to be a group of people who just, like you said, passing time almost. But I've been to speed dating events and things like that as well, and I think it's just like I'm still trying to find a good. I think dating services where they actually have a consultation with you, they get to know you, and then they, through their network or through whatever their kind of database is, they will then go and set up and find.
I think you need to go and have a chat with, is it Seema Auntie? Auntie Seema?
Seema Auntie, are you around? Let's have a chat.
Who?
It's
the Indian mismatch.
Auntie.
Straight away. Right, okay.
So look, it's no surprise that this episode has so far been the longest
It's
episode.
been long.
And thank God we haven't spoken about our relationship. Let's just move on. Shall we? Lovely.
But I think we can even come back to this at a later stage. I think this is a to be continued in the future. But we'd love to hear your stories on dating, or what are your thoughts on dating? Maybe you're a parent who has a particular opinion on the dating world out there for your kids. And when I say for your kids, I mean like adults.
Dating
For
bad
you
for
single
kids.
ones, would you date a parent that has kids?
Yeah. Would you date somebody that has kids?
I'm glad you explained.
I
I sat there and went, explain yourself.
I mean, a divorced parent, obviously. A divorced parent.
Or not.
I was thinking the same as Joe and Aaron, to be fair.
Anyway, let's wrap this up.
So what are your expectations? Yeah, would you date somebody who has kids, for example? Because I think, again, judgment comes into it, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah. But,
And if you've also got the best chat line in the world, just drop it in comments as well.
yeah,
In fact, DM and then just send us the best shower plan you got.
yeah.
They're bad for getting roasted.
And D will go on a date with the best one.
Love it.
Mate, I might do.
Let's do this. I think we need to find D a man.
Hashtag terms and conditions apply.
Thank you, Aaron, protecting me. Thank you very much. Yeah, exactly. So that's it. We're going to wrap this episode up. Today was all about dating, disasters, success stories, dating throughout the
Ages.
ages.
There's a lot of ages.
20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s. Until next time.
Peace.
Peace out.
Bye.
A-Town.
No.
Sponsored by Jai Shah Photography, UK's award-winning photographer, creating high-impact portraits designed to grab attention. That's Jai Shah Photography, who is sponsoring this episode.